You are now watching Bleav. Do you believe?
Welcome to the very first episode of the Bleav in USC Football Podcast. I'm going to be your host, Kristen Lago, joined by, I think, a player who needs no introduction if you're a USC football fan, but I'm going to give you one anyway because I wrote down some stuff for you. The OG, number 21, one of the best 1-2 punches in USC football history, the Thunder to the Lightning, Lendale White. I'm so excited to have you here.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I'm excited, way and beyond excited to be here. I think it's been long overdue.
Yeah.
I'm excited about our new start with this USC football program and where we're headed. So I'm excited. I think it's big things on the horizon for us.
And I have to tell you, when they told me that you were going to be my co-host, I was fangirling a little bit because you were one of the first players I remember watching at USC. So there you have
Oh,
that.
really? Oh, that's dope. I had no idea.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy because I was on Twitter this morning. I woke up on Twitter this morning and I woke up to a few tweets where people were just like, in case you guys forgot, Lendale was a beast and stuff. And it kind of made me smile and excited this morning. So I truly appreciate you guys. Being like an old guy and still having fans makes you happy. So thank you.
Okay, you're not that old. I still remember my favorite, the running into the end zone. I will never forget the way you used to run in the end zone with your legs kind of up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're trying to high step in there. With coach back in the day, you couldn't really do nothing that'll get you in trouble. So you had to play within the line. So I would try to like high step in the end zone, get my little flashiness going, and then give the ball to the ref. But, it worked out for us. But yeah, Pete wasn't going to let us get off too much back then.
So safe to say a lot has changed from the time you were playing at USC to now.
Oh, it's ridiculous. These kids that's at USC now, it's amazing for them. I honestly wish I could be at the program right now because just so many different things. I mean, when I was playing, you couldn't even wear colored gloves, and now they got colored gloves and stuff. But they let them wear tape on their ankles or on their shoes and stuff. Now you can wear different colored socks. So yeah, man, being a Trojan now is way different. But I kind of feel that, a lot of the individuality that they've had in the past kind of is what I think limited us in the capacity. So hopefully I feel like Lincoln Riley can bring the togetherness back. Because even though, back when we were playing, me, Reggie, Matt, Dwayne Jared, whoever these guys was, Fred Davis, Dominique Byrd, regardless of, what we wanted to do and be individually stars, regardless, we still found a way to, be within the team and do whatever the team needed to be and be great for the team. So hopefully they can get that image back with USC and we can, get back to fighting on.
And you mentioned it there. We're trying to get back to fighting on. There are a lot of reasons to believe in USC football right now. I think we saw some news, what was it, yesterday, that
yes, sir.
gave us even more reason to believe with the transfer of Jordan Addison, the top player in college football right now, 5-star recruit, Blitnikoff Award winner. And first of all, let's just talk about the transfer portal and to USC, because I'm sure that has changed from when you were there and recruiting was a thing to now where, half our roster are transfers. So I'm just curious your take on that, first of all.
Well, my take on the transfer portal, honestly, when I was playing football, we had to suck it up. I played with Reggie Bush. He was Heisman Trophy winner. I had Matt Leinart in the backfield. He was a Heisman Trophy winner. It was like we didn't run from success. It was if he was that guy and he was good, I wanted to be right behind him and learn from him. Or, I'm going to push Reggie to be the best he can be because I see how great he is. Now it seems like as soon as there's a little friction or you got to work for your job a little bit, these kids are so quick to hop in this transfer portal. And for some of these kids, for me, it's like they're running from competition, right? Mm-hmm. And some of these coaches are seeing it. I've seen a few of these players go play on a team, into the transfer portal, play on another team, re-enter the transfer portal. And it's like you've been in college football for 4 years and you've entered the transfer portal 3. Yeah. It's like this is not NFL free agency. So some of these coaches, unless you're like one of those guys, they'll have you on a team because you've been around and so like the college aspect. It's easier than to go get a younger guy. But, when you transfer like that, some of these coaches are looking at you like you're not that guy. We're going to put you on a team, but we know you're going to run from competition eventually. So, but But then also you have these big time players that are at some of these universities where, where you get NIL deals, and it's crazy that people are, mad about some of this stuff. You can't really get mad. They created this, right? So now if you're telling me I'm a Biletnikoff winner at a smaller school, but I can transfer to Alabama, Texas, or even USC and make more money, I'm sorry, I'm going to do it as well. I've proved that I can play at this level and at a high rate. I've won a Biletnikoff. This school is probably not that big. You guys are probably not really offering me much. And at this time, I can make a lot more money somewhere else, so I'm going. I agree with him completely.
I think that's my take on it too. And obviously I never played, so I don't have that reaction, but I think there's so many people that are angry about it. But at the end of the day, like, that's what it is now. So you can't really be angry or be happy about that. That's the state of college football. So regardless of that, but I think it's funny because everybody, of course, I think this was the same case when you were playing, hates on USC. I think if Jordan Addison had not transferred to USC, we wouldn't be seeing this sort of uproar. If he had gone to Texas, I don't think he would be seeing this.
Right.
So,
it's so crazy because Kristen, again, I woke up this morning, I'm looking on Twitter and I see a message. The first thing they say is "F you, Reggie Bush, Lendale White, Matt Leinart, you guys are cheating." And it's like, bro, I ain't played college football since 2006, right? I can't make a kid go to USC. Like you can't be mad. Like they even got mad at Lincoln because they said Lincoln was like, you shouldn't take kids from the transfer. And I understand what he's saying, but listen, I'm going to a new university and I'm trying to win now. Yeah. And these kids want to come. It's not hard. Some of these guys got to open up their eyes. Like these kids are playing in like Norman, Oklahoma, or even Pittsburgh, or even Austin. I'm not knocking nothing, but if you take a flight out west and you get to Los Angeles, California, and you see what's really going on, there's no way in hell that if you're a real life player that wants to ball out, that you leave Hollywood. There's no way that you don't go to Hollywood. You know what I mean? You've been there. You know what we have to offer in California. It's the media, one of the media capitals of the world. You get unlimited, newspaper clippings or, articles. So if you're being honest to yourself and if you're a beast and a baller, I don't see how you don't go to USC, honestly.
And you look at all the players that we've gotten so far. So it's Mario Williams, Caleb Williams, Latrell McCutcheon, Terrell Bynum. There's so many. Troy Dye, now Jordan Addison. The list is so long, it's hard to keep track of. But looking at the players that Lincoln has brought in via the transfer portal, what excites you the most about this group of players?
Well, what excites me now is that we have a chance to win now. It's amazing that, everybody's like looking at it like, oh, we got a few years to build up and do this. But it's like, if you look at the caliber player that Caleb Williams is and what he was able to do as a freshman last year at Oklahoma, then he is probably going to take the next step. And he still has the same coaching staff that he had last year. So I know I'm anxious myself as a football player or ex-football player to see what Caleb's going to bring. But just him alone changes the dynamic in the locker room. We go from Jackson Dart was unbelievable. I have nothing but love for Keaton Slovis, even JT Daniels. These are like guys that I still communicate with, and I have, sent them their well wishes. But none of those guys are athletic like Caleb Williams, if we're being honest, right? Then you look at a guy like Mario. We've seen what he did over at Oklahoma last year. He was unbelievable. But now we're just giving these guys a different platform out on a different school where they're angry. I mean, not angry. Well, they might be angry, but they're hungry. They're hungry right now to show the world what they have. And I know for a fact that once you get to USC and you start looking around and you get to talking and you realize the tradition that they have there, these kids are like, they know that they got something to hold up on their shoulders. And it's like, why not win now? We have the talent. We're in the Pac-12. We're big. We're a Power 5 school, and I know that if we handle business in our conference, we can be one of those teams in the top 4 this year.
With the talent that we have that you were just talking about, what do you think is a valid expectation for this team? Like a believable expectation for this team?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't see why we won't be Pac-10 champions this year, and I can see us playing in the Rose Bowl. But I honestly can see if things go the way I think they can go this year, because I've seen it when you lock in and people start to believe and you really believe that you can win, anything's possible. So I honestly, I mean, a realistic expectation, I would say, a Rose Bowl championship or playing the Rose Bowl, right? But for me, I honestly feel like we're going to be somewhere around that top 4. I just Bleav it. Because again, once it goes in the game and y'all start clicking and Lincoln's calling the plays and these guys get the plan, I really Bleav that we can be top 4, and playing for one of these games this year in the big way.
Do you think it's going to take getting to that level to bring back the fan base that we used to see at games when you were playing? Or do you think, I think LA fans are sometimes fickle, right? They want to see people win.
Yes, but I think LA, SC has it's the nucleus. Our nucleus is what it is, right?
Yeah.
I honestly, right now, when you don't win the way we're accustomed to winning, and, you have the coaches and people didn't agree with Helton for years. So when you have, a coach in the house that people don't agree with, I love Clay. I have nothing against him. I Bleav he was a great man. He did good for what he was given, because it's still hard to win with what he was given. So I think our fan base just started to realize, or they just, they're sick of losing, especially when you're supposed to win certain games. But now hiring a guy like Lincoln, he's a young guy. His track sheet is unbelievable. You got 2 first-round draft picks. You got 2 Heisman Trophy winners, which I don't think people understand how hard that is to do and then have back-to-back seasons, right? So, I think the excitement is there. I have a group chat. It's at least like 25 of us old Trojan players, and every day it's like, when we see like the Trojan fingers go up from Lincoln Riley, everybody gets excited. Like when he usually does this, we know there's a big commitment coming and stuff. So yeah, I know that we Bleav in this time now. I don't see why we can't do it. Why not us? Like there's other schools that come out every year and have, some type of fantasy season. I don't see why we can't have it. We've been hiding out now for about 10, 12 years. So I don't see why we can't have that year.
And if we can't win now with all of the talent that we now have on our roster, I don't know what's wrong with USC at that point, right?
Yeah, I'm with you when you're right. Like when you get a guy like Caleb and then you got a Biletnikoff winner along with some of the talent we still have on that team, because we got kids that was on that team last year that, I've seen making different strides. Dante, our ex-coach, which is an unbelievable guy, he's continued to make sure that those guys were in the right position and in the right headspace. So I think the guys that stayed with USC, they're still hungry as ever, and they understand that, we have stuff to live up to. So it's time to turn it around ASAP.
And one more just on that, because you talked about the guys that are still there. And this is something I was wondering, and I think you could probably shed better light on it. When you continue to get in the transfers at your, like, say you're a guy that stuck around, a wide receiver per se, and they're getting in Jordan Addison or Mario Williams. Do you think we're going to just see other people transfer out, or do you think the guys that we have on the roster are going to stick around and try to fight it out for that roster spot?
From what I'm understanding and what I've seen, I think those kids understand what Lincoln wants now and what he wrote out, his rules, his expectations. And the kids that I think stayed there understand that there's going to be a different work around there. It's going to be a different environment. And I think if they buy in along with what these other kids are coming in buying in, then that instantly turns your team into a winning attitude, because again, you don't have these kids running from competition. I don't need to get in the damn transfer portal because this kid came in, he was a 5-star at another school. No, it's like coach said, if I do this and I practice and work this way, that we all have an opportunity. And I Bleav that. So once you have that belief in everybody, that's when things change ASAP. And that's what I'm anxious to see, because when a kid believes in the coach and he loves them, you can get them kids to do anything for you.
Is that how it was when you were playing college football?
For sure. Oh, yeah. I mean, people ask me about my relationship with Pete now because it's whatever. But when I was playing football, Pete could have told me to run through a brick wall without a helmet, and I would have did it, because at the time, whatever he told us back then, it worked. And when we didn't do it, he said, we seen not the results we wanted. And when we worked the way he told us, we seen exactly the results we wanted. So, we all Bleav in Pete, we all have our nicknames for him and stuff, but yeah, we wouldn't change the time with PC, because he knew how to get the best out and the most out of everybody, and we believed it. That's why I feel like we had the run we did, because no matter somebody fumbled, if we were down 17 at halftime, regardless, we come in, we'll have a speech, do your job and everything's going to be all right. And we believed it. And like clockwork, we come out, things get to rolling and it changes over. So yeah, the belief in coaches changes a lot.
Last one here talking about this, but do you see any parallels between Pete Carroll and Lincoln Riley and maybe the way they run their programs, or just like the talent level? I mean, you guys didn't have transfers at the time to the level, but you had so many talented players on one roster, and yet everyone ate. Everyone contributed. And so I'm just curious if you see that sort of idea coming out now.
I definitely can see that. That's what I'm saying. Like, again, we were probably looking for that Pete, the Pete lookalike in a sense for so long for our program. That's probably why we hired Ed. We got Sark, and we had Lane Kiffin because of the tree.
Everybody from the tree, right?
Exactly. We were trying to find that thing. But now when you look at Lincoln, his success, he built a ton of success on his own right at a different school. So now coming over here, kids are able to see that, and he's a younger dude. So it's not like sometimes when you have these older coaches and they're in the house and they're not Nick Saban, it's not believable. You know what I mean? You have an old guy coming to you telling you some stuff, you're not believing him. But when you got a guy like, again, Lincoln Riley coming in and like, hey, the goal is probably to get to the NFL, right? And they're like, yeah. So he's like, well, I have 2 first-round draft picks, 2 overall number ones. I have Heisman Trophy winners. So like, what do you want to do? When kids start hearing that, they're like, oh, yeah, like, why wouldn't I go play for him? Why don't I want to win now? And yes, of course I want to go to the NFL. So I'm going to listen to Lincoln. And I'm happy we have a younger guy that understands football. He's going to be able to get recruit out in L.A. We've seen it now. I mean, we were able to take the top, the quarterback from the next year's class. He's already – that's what I'm saying. If you're a Trojan fan, if you don't believe already, then something's not right, because we haven't had this much excitement ever. We didn't sign Bryce. He left us. We didn't have Thibodeau. He ended up not signing with us. Like DJ Ugalele. There's so many players that I look up and I'm like, they were committed at USC. Yeah. But no, that we missed out. They were committed to us. And then all of a sudden they leave us. So hopefully now with Dante and Lincoln, I feel like we have a hit squad and they won't miss it all.
And we're definitely going to get to all that good stuff. I definitely want to get Malachi, the quarterback you were just talking about, on the podcast. His mom actually is my hairdresser. So kind of
really?
Hilarious little side note. So we're going to definitely get them on the podcast for sure.
You're the plug then. Hey, that's it. We got us the plug.
I got you. For everyone else, I'm looking at you. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you got them. I got everybody else. No problem. Yes.
But before we go from this intro episode, I feel like we can't have a college football podcast not talk about the feud that's taken the college football world by storm. Jimbo Fisher versus Nick Saban. For a little bit of background here. So Nick Saban, the recruiting rankings for 2022, Texas A&M had the top overall class, Alabama the number 2 class, and Nick Saban came out and said basically that they had that Texas A&M was able to assemble the top ranked recruiting class because they bought every player with NIL deals. And then Jimbo Fisher came out, and I actually have some audio. I think I can play it just so we can get a little refresher about what Jimbo Fisher had to say. Let's see.
It's really despicable. It's despicable that somebody can say things about somebody and an organization. More importantly, 17-year-old kids. You're taking shots at 17-year-old kids and their families. That they broke state laws. That they're all money. We bought every player on this group. We never bought anybody. No rules were broken. Nothing was done wrong. It was all in the way we do things, the ethics in which we do things. And these families, it's despicable that a reputable head coach could come out and say this when he doesn't get his way or things don't go his way. The narcissist in him doesn't allow those things to happen.
Okay, Jimbo, coming out with the heat over here. Okay, I'm sorry. I got to ask you your first reaction to that. Like, when you saw first what Nick Saban said and then Jimbo said, what was your thought process?
Well, first, honestly, when I first seen what Nick Saban said, I'm like, man, what the hell are you doing? That's some hater shit, right? Like, who says that? Like, like Jimbo said, like to me, it's kind of narcissistic. Like, you know what you have in your program. We've seen what you've done. And honestly, like me being around college football in my lifetime, I know like all the recruits don't just usually go to school because you're doing things right? So Alabama's probably in the boat of everybody else. They probably done some stuff, shady shit in the past. I'm not accusing them. I don't know 100%, but I'm not a fool. I play college football. So Alabama's probably did some crazy shit in the past. But the fact that Jimbo Fisher he got his recruits, and then the fact that he took a shot at even Deion Sanders, talking about like the $1 million stuff I have to take medication. The fact that he even took shots at Deion Sanders and the black colleges, to me, it's like, listen, everybody wanted these NIL deals. We've been screaming to let these college kids get played for so long, right? Now that they're getting paid, we can't control if the Texas alumni group has better NIL deals. They're paying more. You can't be mad at that. We know that now this is the age of college football. And if kids are searching for that and they're looking for that and these college universities are able to give it to them, you can't be mad or deny that. The fact that you win the way you win and you've been winning, it sounds like you're a hater because you're mad that people are getting talent and you weren't able to, recruit the talent. These are guys that even you were your coach on your coaching staff at one time, and now they're saying things about you that we all kind of been whispering about ourselves. So, like, to me, he's opening up a can of worms that he probably doesn't want to open up. If I was him, I would probably just shut up, try to win my little championships, continue to dominate football like he has. And if things change, it changes. Like, SC dominated for years. Ohio State dominated. Clemson had a run. Bama, you've been around. Miami, things change. It's okay. You're probably not you're not gonna be on top forever, Nick Saban. I mean, especially when it's tough to lose. Like, come on, you're gonna have to start fighting against people that live out in Southern Cali again. So it's like, man, you can't be mad at everything. Man, I'm disappointed in Nick Saban. Honestly, I can't believe that he would say something like that, knowing what it takes in college football to win, knowing what it takes to get, even if those kids were offered money and they still got to commit to go there. That doesn't mean they're going to the NFL. I don't know how much they're paying those kids, but that doesn't mean their life is set. So even if your parents are telling you to go there because of the money, like, are y'all really looking at like $1 million to set you forever? Or are you like, what are we looking at? I think Jimbo Fisher's way smarter than that. So I can't just say he's breaking the rules and he's like, hey, you come here, we're going to make sure we pay you. I just don't have. Especially when you look at Alabama and it's like every time some kids that transfer portal that's a 5-star recruit, they end up in Bama, but nobody's saying anything about that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, he needs to just shut up and, suck it up, man. You ain't always going to be on top. Sometimes shit happens.
And he brings up the parity of college football. I mean, is there ever really going to be parity in college football? Like, especially with this era of NIL, right? Like, there's going to be some competitive advantages everywhere. However, I think you're seeing a lot of these smaller schools that you might not think about putting together really great NIL packages and starting to get really great athletes. Like, I was at St. John Bosco yesterday. They have a great contention of players going to Louisville. That might not be the first place I think kids are going to go from Southern California, but hey, I mean, I don't know.
Right. Nah, see, that's what it's about. I feel like, the fact that people are able to pay these kids now, you can. Travis Hunter is going to Jackson State.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who in the world would have thought the number one recruit? Like, that's the greatest thing in football, and it's even better for, the HBCUs to get players like that, because now that he's probably, if he does it right and everything, God willing, he'll probably end up going to the league. So they're going to show people that you can go to HBCUs and still prosper and go to the NFL. So I'm excited about it. I think that this is a great time for college football. We've been asking for this for a long time. We've been begging to pay these players and get these players played. So now that it's happening, if Nick's a smart man, he should have jumped ahead of this years ago and tried to come out with plans and the way they should have came out with something. Yeah. But he knew once this was going, everybody knew this. We all knew it. Like, it's wild, wild west. Once you can offer a kid money, like, how do we separate NIL deals from booster clubs or car companies owned by some? Like, you really can't. but that's what we wanted now, so we have to accept it and suck it up.
So
and I think the USC benefits the most, so I ain't mad at it at all.
And we're setting the record straight. You're Team Fisher on this one? Team Jimbo?
Yeah, I'm Jimbo. I mean, I don't. If Jimbo gets to hating and talking crazy back, I don't really condone hate by no means. But like, listen, you can't take shots and expect nothing to come back. Like, that's what I'm saying. You can't throw stones living in a glass house. We know that. So I'm taking Jim's side, because if they were smart about this, Nick would have never said anything. He would just let it go. Again, they have you. What did they got him? I think favored to beat Texas A&M by like 30 again. Yeah. So like, what is you saying that? It just sounds crazy. Let it go, man.
And a fun one before I let you leave, since we're talking about NIL, if you were to be playing college football right now in the era of NIL, what's the first thing you would have bought with your NIL money in college as 18-year-old you?
18-year-old me. So if I could have got in college with NIL, I would have tried to make sure like my NIL deal would have been like a Ferrari or, a nice Benz. Like, I would have been trying to get one of those deals. I ain't gonna lie. And then I would have tried to find a jewelry company, somebody that would have let me get some jewelry. That would have been me. I would have been icy with a nice car. And listen, like Deion said, if you feel good, you play good. So I would have been out there ready to roll.
So dripped out would have been the
top
of mind.
Swag. If I ain't got swag with some ice, I don't feel comfortable. No. So that's what these kids is crazy. When I was playing, we couldn't afford no Gucci or nothing. We could probably get one pair of Jordan a month with our stipend. These kids, they're going to be fitted forever. Man, I applaud it. I wish I could go back to school right now. It would be a time of my life.
I got to get you down to see some of these Southern California high schoolers, because they're already benefiting and their cars are pretty nice. I'm not going to lie to you.
I follow a kid named Mikey, one of the little basketball stars, and I've been following him since he's a freshman, and I've been seeing his come up. It's ridiculous. Yeah, these kids they're the shit. I'm gonna take you up on your offer. I'm down to come out to SoCal whenever. We can go to any high school games or whatever. I'm down.
Yeah, you gotta come see SoCal ball right now. It's pretty great. And hopefully some of them will stay here at USC so we can see some of the Trojans of the future.
No, hopefully. We're changing it. It's happening. That's what I'm telling you. If you're a fan out there and you believe in USC football, like, this is the time. It's going to change, and it's now. Right now is the time.
And we're going to be following it every step of the way. We'll be here hopefully every single week talking about USC. I mean, they're never short of news, so I think there's always something to talk about. We'll definitely be here all season long, breaking down the games, previewing them for you. So before we go, this is so new for me. I'm asking for people to subscribe and stuff, but we're going to be on iTunes, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Play, anywhere you can get your podcast. Make sure you subscribe, comment, give us a rating, maybe share some of your favorite old USC memories of late in the comments. I mean, I'm sure you would love to hear those.
Definitely love it. I love anything USC. Tell me about it. I'm a diehard. I can't control it. I fight people about USC. I see somebody in the store wearing US or some UCLA stuff, I automatically talk about them. I seen somebody in the store the other day with some Bama stuff on, and I'm like, Roll Tide. She's like, fight on. I'm like, yeah, only fight on, no Roll Tide. But yeah, man, this is gonna be an exciting time, man. I'm looking forward to, giving a play-by-play as it starts this year what USC football does. But I know it's going to be some big things, and we're going to surprise a lot of people. I just can't wait to show them.
All right. I think we're going to leave it at that. We will be back at you hopefully very soon. Make sure you comment, subscribe. For Lendale and myself, I'm going to say fight on to finish this one out. There we go.